You know, my mother was a great many things in her lifetime. A single mother of 4, a walking obituary, and the finest voice-assisted broken thermostat you ever did see.
Oh god, it's bitter in here.
But I think what I'll remember her most for is being an absolute pig of a woman. She was the furthest thing from ladylike you could imagine. She snored like an angry Rottweiler, swore like a sailor, and between the stains in her clothes and the stains in her face, you'd swear she ate her food with her forehead. But her standout trait, above all else, was she had absolutely no shame. When it came to her bodily functions and her own personal privacy, this woman was flying the Jolly Roger. And you can call me Admiral Ducky of the British Empire, because her privacy piracy was something I spent a better part of my life trying to stamp out. One of which was, she used to never close the bathroom door when she was using the toilet. Now, that's especially bad for 2 reasons. 1, regardless of what a woman is doing on the jacks, she'll be facing forward, legs agape. And 2, the bathroom was right at the top of the stairs. So at least once a week, I'd walk up the stairs, make it about 2/3 of the way up there, only to have the dying misfortune of having locked eyes with her rusty muff. Sometimes you'd even catch her mid-wipe, and it was like walking in on somebody stuffing a raw chicken. But the worst part was, she'd never rush to close the door or cover herself up out of any sort of embarrassment. No, she'd suddenly turn all auditioning for the X Factor on you. She'd strike up a conversation and actually try to get you all emotionally invested in what she was going through on the toilet.
Oh god, Ducky. Oh, that curry. Oh, I thought we had something, but it's after stabbing me in the back. Oh, I'm never ordering from that place again. Oh, it's like battery acid. Run down the stairs and get me some more loo roll, will ya?
Why is the door still open? But it didn't end there. To say this woman was skilled in the art of fart would be an understatement. She was the conductor of the finest cheek, squeak and ring clapper orchestra this side of Europe. Most people, give or take, are like phones and have 2 settings, loud and silent. But she farted like somebody trying to select a ringtone. Her basket was deep with a wide variety of farts that she could throw at you at any given moment. You had the exhale. Is that the wind? The squeaker? The f*** was that? The jump scare? And my personal favourite, the dirty chicken. Fuck. Now, it was bad enough that her farts were so foul and frequent we'd be able to taste them from the other side of the small council house, but what really took the arse biscuit was she would never even attempt to put a silencer on him when we had guests. Everybody who visited, whether they liked it or not, felt the foundations of the house shake from her cracked concert. Family, friends, electricians, social welfare inspectors, you name it. This was mildly embarrassing for us all, but if that's where it ended, it would have been ultimately water off a duck's back. But you see, it didn't end there. What really embarrassed us most was, she'd even blow her whole trumpet around new girlfriends she's just met. How just met, you might ask? Try during the introduction. Yeah. I remember once I was with this girl who I decided to introduce to the mother. Now, we were still in the early stages of the relationship. That stage where you both pretend to each other that you're both perfect, normal, upstanding people with perfect, normal, upstanding families. Before about 9 months down the line, when that closet door swings open and out pops that little goblin you were hiding, made up of all your insecurities, your messed up childhood and your real fetish that's way worse than the shit you told her because you didn't want to scare her away and have her tell all her friends about how you love dressing up as Trump and blowing it in her shithole country. What can I say? I'm a fan of America. Probably because we both pull out and hope for the best. Oh, I'm not going to get paid for this one, am I? But by about the 9-month mark in a relationship, they're already invested, so the sunk cost fallacy got your back. Yes, that's what relationships are all about. Upselling yourself and hoping to God they lose the receipt. Now, no word of a lie, I walked into the kitchen with my brand spanking new girlfriend, said, "Hey Matt, this is Sinead." And before even saying anything, she claps out a sharp one. Like a proper sharp one. See, she had farted against a lacquered wooden chair, which kind of remixed the sound from a rumble into a sharp clatter that was especially hard on the eardrums. Never thought a fart would be the first thing my mother ever said to her, I'll be honest. It's just as well she did introduce herself properly after that, or you would have thought that's just how she communicated. Now, we all had different ways of dealing with this. My sister, being the youngest, wasn't really bothered by it. In fact, she was laughing her arse off all the while Snapchatting it to all her friends like she was shooting a found footage indie film based around farting. My younger brother would get even by playing this little game where every dinner time he'd do his damn best to put the mother off her food. One particular dinner comes to mind. "Hey Ducky, do you ever lick a girl out when she's on her period? Tastes like rusty coins." "Dirty bastard! What the fuck am I raising it all?" And my older brother, well, unfortunately, he started taking after her. He started leaving the bathroom door open while he was having a dump. But the worst thing to come from adopting that lifestyle was he'd get out of the shower and rather than covering himself with the towel, he'd throw it over his shoulder and walk butt-ass naked back to the bedroom, a bedroom we all shared, mind you. And before I knew it, I'd be locked eyes with his piping bag. And what drove me up the wall most about this was he'd get angry at me. "Ah, for fuck's sake, cover yourself up, will you? I don't need to be seeing that." "Well, what are you looking at it for? Are you gay or something?" "Well, I wasn't expecting you to see it air dry in your Why is it still out?" But me, well, I dealt with her in the only way I know how. With some good old salt of the earth frustrated angry shouting. "Ah, fuck's sake." Ma, did you put a dirty sentry towel in the bin?
Well, what am I supposed to do with it, smart arse?
Well, you could have at least put it face down. That bin doesn't have a lid. But raging out over having to explain basic manners to a 50-year-old woman never felt satisfying to me because, well, she didn't give a shit. If anything, her not taking anything I had to say on board infuriated me even more. But the stars aligned and I was blessed with the perfect opportunity for revenge one day when she asked me to drop her uptown so she could do her weekly shop. Little did she know at the time that day I had eaten something that was none too happy about meeting my lower GI. I wasn't quite shitting myself or anything, but if you had smelt the farts that were coming out of me, it would have been hard to convince you that I didn't. They were the kind of farts that were heating the back of me legs. Seriously, they were absolute filth, like eggy pesto and a diarrhea aftertaste. When I farted, I had to get up and leave the room myself. So knowing I was now armed with the appropriate weaponry, I happily agreed to drive her to the shop and spent that journey in the 20 minutes waiting for her in the car, cooking up the most heinous, hate-filled, fire-breathing bastard of a fart my colon had ever brewed. And I knew it was going to be especially bad because my intestines were creaking and popping like an old house in the wind, and every time I had to do an emergency clench to hold one back, the heat of it felt like somebody was putting out a cigarette on the backside of my ring. But it had to be done if I wanted the flavour to be double concentrate. So before long, my mother came back to the car and we were heading home. And this is where I decided to initiate Operation Smother the Mother. In 2 seamlessly, beautifully executed steps, I both ripped the wettest, crack-slappingest, nostril-hair-stinging, acidy fart Ireland had ever known, and pressed a button that disables the windows in the car so she couldn't roll them down for some air. And her reaction was perfection.
Ah, fuck's sake, Ducky, what crawled up your arse and died? Seriously, that stinks. Oh my god, I can't. How do you open the window? Ducky, the window. Open the fucking window.
Yeah, it went better than even I expected, to the point she had puked in her own mouth. I couldn't blame her though. It was fucking nasty. The concentration of gas in the car was like the showers at Auschwitz. We were lucky to come away out of that experience with our lives. I had to quickly pull over to the side of the road, and no sooner was the car stopped, she had the door swung open and was puking all over the footpath. I might also add that this wasn't on a quiet country road somewhere. This was in the middle of a busy town with plenty of witnesses. Yes, she got a taste of my chemical weapons, pardon the phrasing, and now she was rather embarrassingly chucking it up for the whole town to see. The ultimate payback then, right? Ducky, I must have been laughing your fluffy green arse off. Damn right I was. I was basking in the smell of victory. But unfortunately the victory smelled a lot like anus and bile, causing the whole thing to backfire on me when I puked out the driver's side. Fuck!